Yes, that's true. And so we just heard from Viktor Orban as he was entering the European Council summit. He reiterated his intention to block both things. Now, when asked if the 10 billion euros that the European Commission released to him late last night, that's out of a total of 30 billion euros that was being frozen, withheld from Hungary in EU funds because of Orban's rule of law violations. Last night, coincidentally timed, they insist, the Commission released 10 billion of that, so about 1/3. Orban was asked coming in this morning, will that be enough for you to relent on your veto? And he insisted it's not connected at all. He doesn't blackmail. There is no connection between this issue and the issue being discussed today, which is on substance. His argument was that the existing facility for Ukraine, for supporting Ukraine, could be extended, that they don't need to authorize the entirety of this 50 billion tranche for the next 3 years. And then separately, on the question of EU accession, he noted that out of the 7 conditions that the Commission had set for deeming that talks could start, 3 have not been met. And he said until those additional 3 are met, the EU should not move forward on accession. And he just said that he could envision it happening maybe in a year, but that it's not, that this is not the time to do it. So he's sticking by his opposition to both of those things. We'll see if his mind can be changed during the course of this summit.
So Dave, what does that mean exactly? Could just one person completely derail this aid, particularly, which is the most urgent, pressing matter for Ukraine?
Yeah, this is what frustrates a lot of people with the way this works. So on these foreign policy issues, on budget issues, there are unanimity requirements. You need every single EU prime minister or president, in the case of France, to say yes. So yes, Orban can veto. Now, he can veto the accession for sure. There's no way around that. If Orban says no to Ukraine joining the EU, Ukraine is not in the EU. On the budget, there are ways around his veto. They could instead do this outside of the EU framework. So 26 EU countries could get together with an intergovernmental agreement to give Ukraine that 50 billion euros that bypasses Orban. That is not an ideal scenario. Symbolically, it doesn't look good to have to do that outside of the European Union. It's also very complicated. They don't want to do that, but that's a plan F, you could say, for the next 2 days. They also, as Orban was suggesting there as he entered, they could also extend some of the facilities that exist. And actually, they could do that without his assent anyway. So there are some tricky accounting things they could do on the money. However, on accession, there's no way around it. If Orban insists on the veto, they can't get around it.